Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jay, and we're back with Scraps and Taps here for another episode. I think 15 now. Um, Here's what we're gonna do. Maybe something a little different. I know this week we have Strickland versus Hernandez. I don't know where the fuck it is. Somewhere in the United States. Oh, I think it's a Meta Apex. I don't fucking know. But yeah, Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Is this week. But we honestly had, I missed last week. We had Mario Bautista winning in the main event. Um, I feel like this one has a little bit more fire behind it. We got former champion Sean Strickland versus, dude. I mean, he's probably one of the slickest grapplers in the light heavyweight division, I believe, right now, or middleweight division. Sorry. Um, I mean, absolutely dog walked. I forget who. Um, but I do remember his fight against it's slipping my mind right now, but the other black belt jiu-jitsu guy. Um, but Sean Strickland, I mean, former champ. So I mean, this is a good fight. There's a lot of questions, right? Sean Strickland, how is he gonna do in another fight that's not against a streamer? And Hernandez is kind of more of like, what can't he do at this point? It's pretty interesting how much Hernandez has been kind of like this underrated fighter, but his jiu-jitsu is just too good, like I was just saying. But before that, uh, there's just some other news and stuff going on, and I feel like I want to switch it up a little bit, and maybe I'll do that preview in the back side of this. But um, yeah, there's just been so much news lately, so I want to talk about Dana White, Mr. White, and his um, this judicial hearing that has been going on. So recently, he was being questioned, like I said, under some judicial hearings stemming from both antitrust lawsuits that have been going on. I think one is from Kung Lee. And these are all Lee's heading one, and then another person, and then it's a group of fighters, right? And these are rumored to be finally stamped under oath in a Nevada courtroom. So I'm getting this info from a Substack called MMA Draw. So for some things that stood out is one, Dana admitted to not running the UFC anymore, and like I said in previous video, no fighter ever in this new era talks about dealing with Dana when it comes to contracts. It's Hunter Campbell, and in some instances, when Dana can't make it to press conferences, it's either no one, right? They either get no questions for Dana, or it's Hunter. Very rarely, I've seen him. The last, I think it was the last big Izzy fight when he was still champ. That Hunter was there, answering questions, um, I feel like that's Dana putting all his trust, right, to put out all the gate info, the bonuses, all that to the public. So for me, it's Hunter is the future. It has been the future of the UFC. And since he hasn't been so camera facing, we don't get a lot of Hunter Campbell being seen, only as the other guy sitting next to Dana, right cage side. And he's also been mentioned in so many post fight interviews. And fighters have a lot of gratitude for what is the top four, like the executives in the UFC. Dana is the face of it. Hunter Campbell, he's the negotiator. And you got Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby, who have been longtime matchmakers in the UFC. Um, I also wouldn't be surprised if Dana only gets involved in those high profile contracts. I'm talking legends like Connor, John Jones, and other high level, high capital fighters. Um, and Dana, like I said, Dana admitted he doesn't run it anymore. I feel like, and there were some issues too going on. Like there was a talk about a phone being missing that had like crucial information, and Dana says, "Oh, I don't know, his assistants handle these phones." So there's obviously some conflict going on here. There's something, whether it's true or not. Um, whether Dana actually does this. I mean, anybody could be saying anything at this point, right? It's look at what's going on all around us. I mean, it seems like the country's falling apart, and nobody gives a shit about what the truth is anymore. And anyways, that's a different tangent. But if you guys want to talk about that, let me know. I'd be so down to talk about that. Um, but yeah, like at this point, who knows? Like, and this phone was a matter of right discovery, evidence at this point. Um, so it's interesting, like that's my opinion. I feel like Dana only deals with that high level shit. And number two is that Ilia Toporia's last fight was being held up to an open contract leading up to the day of Ilia's fight. UFC 317 fight with Charles. Hey, brother, it's me, Charles Oliveira. Yeah, with Charles, which is crazy to think that one fighter was holding a whole company by the nutsack. And honestly, I feel like that's how you get paid. It reminds me of a few years ago when Dustin had just beat BSD, that beautiful knockout. And he really wanted to fight in Louisiana, and he muscled the UFC by believing he was done fighting before his contract was up, having those cryptic tweets. If I find him, I'll put him in, and really just negotiating publicly, showing how many people want to see Dustin fight in his hometown. Ultimately got what he wanted, his swan song in Louisiana. But to me, it showed how little fighters go against the UFC. How many fighters aren't willing up to go against that beast. But when you go for that high risk, you get that high reward. And the level of intensity I could imagine between day of fight negotiations versus like a strategic month-long negotiation, it's must be like a house fire versus like a campfire. It's the amount of hair pulling minus Dana, maybe skin pulling. Maybe he's going like this. Must have been crazy. I can't even imagine landing a big contract. Everything looks good, and we're getting to the day of the fight, and boom, it's up in the air, right? I mean, Dana's only canceled like one event, which is like the John Jones. What was it? John Jones, Chael Sonnen. I think they had to reschedule it. I don't know. I forget who it was. That's a good thing to look up. I mean, we're having to find a replacement like Dan 50K Ige, like coming in like 4 hours notice, But yeah, I feel like that was some of the most interesting. I don't know if they're going to be doing another hearing or continuing with this, I guess, this dispute in the court. But yeah, that's some news on that. I found that very interesting, just the judicial side of this, right? Because MMA has been this weird spot where this sport has been banned in other states, and so I feel like it's just always this back and forth between legislature and MMA. And this one has a little bit more personal, right? Because it has to do with the fighters and the UFC being a monopoly. So I don't know. I feel this to me is kind of really interesting, right? Anyways, all that legislative whatever court talk kind of just reminds me that I do truly believe that Dana will retire at the end of this year. And the last thing I think that Dana will physically oversee as the big bad boss of the UFC and will have his hand in every part of it is the White House card, obviously. I think it's going to be his crowning achievement, like his own send-off. The way he talks about it, it just sounds like he's also excited to watch something start from the ground up. I feel kind of like when Fight Island was announced, when COVID-19 and the world shutdown happened.
The numbers, basically. What do they mean? Where are they broadcast?
Sorry about that. I feel like I woke some sleeper agents mentioning the pandemic. Anyways, it's something from no plan to major plans, and I feel like the uncertainty in what's in the future and being tenacious and bringing a product is what drives Dana to use this last bits of kingpin energy, and then Dana will perish like when Dano snapped his fingers and disintegrates into dust, and he'll just float in the air, and he'll possess Hunter through voodoo shit. That's going around. You know what's going on. And the way he's beating around the bush, denying fights, and have fans like just salivating, and would kind of make sense for a spectacle card like this, you know. But he's got to listen to Trump's demands. That's also the other thing. He wants title fights, but I mean, it's got to be realistic, right? What could happen? So he's got to bring a product that also satisfies Trump, because I think this is on Trump's birthday, so that's also pretty crazy. I feel like there's so much questions that come to this White House cards. You know, Mr. White is loving the fact that no one knows shits, that he can make up whatever he wants. God, I'm over it. I want to know. I want to know what's going on in the war room, right? Did you guys wish you were a fly on the wall in there? But after the White House, I feel like Dana's going to round out the rest of the year. And I feel like Hunter is going to step into that new role of being the face of the UFC. And I wouldn't imagine that the UFC would change much. I mean, he's been running the show behind the scenes the whole time for years now, it seems like. So, yeah. But I'm starting to see like this fire in Dana White coming from talking about Zuffa boxing and Eddie Hearn. And honestly, I really like Eddie Hearn. I like him as a promoter. I like the way he speaks. I like the way he backs up his fighters. And recently there was somebody asked him what's the biggest backlash he's gotten from everybody. And he's like, I think he said like nothing pretty much. And he's like, beating up babies. It's like beating up babies. He talks about Eddie Hearn, and yeah, if I find the video.
Been any pushback.
Okay.
This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies. I expected more. I expected some pushback. I expected some, I don't know, them to be more game. They're all way out of their league. Like, absolutely, positively out of their league. I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary, or, the guy's been in boxing forever. I look at him like most politicians. You've done nothing in the sport except stay in the lane and, play by all the rules and, ride right along with but you ended up becoming part of the problem, is what happened. And I don't want to sit here and smash Eddie Hearn or anything else, but Eddie Hearn works for his dad. You know what I mean? He works for dad. And, I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision, whereas we do. And we're gonna change the entire sport. And I understand the people who are the status quo in boxing don't like it. But it doesn't mean they can't still do their thing. If your thing is as good as you think it is, and you are as good as you think you are, then do your thing. Good luck to you. I'm going to do my thing, and they're going to do theirs. Eddie Hearn and his dad have a lot of money. It's not like they can't compete. They can't compete because they don't know how to compete. There's no vision there. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And listen, I'm sitting here, my third fight in. I'm either right or I'm wrong.
But it's very interesting to see this fire back. And I was just talking about that. I feel like Dana needs another person on the other side to really bring out that fire in him. And I think it's cool because in this boxing game, right, boxing's been around for fucking ever. It's its own beautiful sport. It's its own beautiful violence, right? They got their own technicians in the ring, but they are also, right, with that, they have been established. There is established dynasties, Matchroom, Queensberry, fucking Ring, right, that just got reimagined by Turki Al-Sheikh. So to see Dana go back and forth, or like just kind of like talk shit again, it feels very invigorating. So, and I feel like in boxing it's very more even, right? UFC, that's why they have these lawsuits. They have this lock on the MMA game. Everybody wants to go to the UFC. Those three letters mean something. So now with the Zuffa boxing, he's stepping into a whole different game, right? Not listening to the WBC, not absorbing their belts, making his own belt, signing fighters from different, organizations who want to try something different. And I feel like that's just pumping him up, right? He's getting this I feel like he's gonna turn to Dana Pink again soon, but it's very interesting to see how in a more established when he's getting introduced to a more established sport, even though he's been in the boxing game also way before the UFC, um, but for him to start from scratch again, right, and have more established managers, more established promoters going back and forth. Like I feel like I'm gonna like watching more of the Zuffa post events, like the press conferences, maybe more than the fights. I don't know. I haven't seen any Zuffa boxing, maybe just clips here and there, but I like it. It's gonna be really fun for Dana over there on that side. It's gonna be really fun for us as fans to see some more fire in Dana. So, like I said, I'm excited. That's got me pretty excited. I'm not gonna lie. We had BKFC and Karate Combat, and I've been saying more about BKFC, but dude, these companies they need a lot more love. BKFC had a huge successful event in Knucklemania 7, had a guy doing the national anthem on a saxophone. I mean, come on, how much more American does that get? Not even one note fuck up. It was actually really good. We had blood, guts, glory, everything that you would think would come in BKFC. I mean, we had Shane Gillis taking a page out of Armin Sarukian's book and doing side quests, walking out Philly fighter Patrick the Brick Brady with that Philly energy. I mean, take a look. Crazy knockouts. Lorenzo Hunt showed out and knocked out Dave Mundell in a cagey first round for Hunt. I mean, they really had respect for each other's power. And after the second, Hunt just closed the distance and laid Mundell flat out. I mean, it was gnarly. I mean, it's really unfortunate that Yoel Romero couldn't make his debut. And I mean, come on, the legend, Andre Arlovsky, the pit bull coming back in the bare knuckle ring, gets in the win column, showing that I think it's 3 or 4 time cancer survivor can get it done against a game opponent. And they fought before the heavyweight champ in the bare knuckle, ex-heavyweight champ, Big Ben. I mean, Arlovsky genuinely pieced up Ben, left him bloody mess. I mean, won through doctor stoppage. Arlovsky was so fast, able to just, pick Ben out pick Ben out. Oh my God, I'm having a once a ton of pine moment.
Once a ton of pine. 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 Once a ton. Once a ton. Once a ton of pine. Once a ton of pine.
Was able to pick apart Ben all on the outside. Arlovsky was just so fucking fast, dude. Too fucking fast for him. Cut him right on the top of Ben's forehead, and Ben was just looking for that one power punch. He was looking for it the whole fight, leaning, looking for that big punch. And every single time that he did that, Arlovsky just unloaded with like 2 or 3 punches, backed out, did it again. I mean, he had a flap sticking out of his head. It was pretty gnarly, not gonna lie. And come on, Karate Combat on Friday the 13th had a great show in Miami, headlined by a championship women's strawweight fight. But let's be honest. There were 3 fights that caught my attention, and that's the Wing C fight, Uriah Hall versus Jaden Anod, and then the craziest fight, Valter Walker versus Zion Clarkson. I mean, Wing C, if you don't know him, get to know him. You're going to love him. Dude is just having so much fun, and his energy is just so infectious. He's getting into these different organizations, and he really brings eyes to these events, man. Every time Wing C is there, you might get a Demetrius Johnson pop up. But he's slowly, just so fucking slow, like this much, he's improving his game. He's a wild kid, though. But in all that chaos, I think he makes his opponents really, really have to step out of that fundamental training. And we saw what happened in this all gas, no brakes fights. I think Wing C went straight to the pit wall, jumped off, and they both jumped at each other. I mean, it looked like they were fucking fighting in a Dragon Ball Z game. And somehow in that thing, nobody took damage. I think Winksy fell back and then was able to get up, and they wrapped each other. And at Winksy, they both spun, but I think Winksy was able to get on top and managed to, like, I think the dude's head, personally, I think the dude's head hit the ground, and then Winksy also just fucking bam hit him with one shot. And then I feel like all that damage together just kind of like laid the guy flat out. He also, I don't think, protected himself on the turn, so maybe he got winded too. Like, I don't know. It looked pretty nasty, but I mean, he got the fight. He started talking on the mic, all that shit that Winksy does. Just laid that ground and pound. And then the Uriah Hall and Jaden Anod fight. I think that for that, it was just I heard they were chatting shit back and forth. I mean, and Uriah disposed of this decorated Muay Thai champ with a brutal spinning back kick. I mean, it's so beautiful. Personally, I did Taekwondo for a little bit when I was a young teenager. And it's one of my favorite kicks. I mean, the power that you generate from your spin and the placement, oh my goodness. I mean, you saw it. It's a fight ender. Like, if you hit the dude right in the ribs, oh my goodness. I mean, it is nasty. Like, and that guy, he tried to stand up. Oh, immediately went back down. I mean, I would have assumed that guy shit his pants right then and there. Like, he hit him perfect, like on the side of the rib right here, or side of the stomach. And Uriah Hall gets the win. And now we have the freak show fight. It's a pit submission series. If you don't know Karate Combat, not only with the karate, they do this thing called what I just said, the pit submission series, and that's all grappling. So there's been some cool fights there. So it changes things up a little bit. You get a little bit of this, you get a little bit of that. I like that. It helps keep it a little fresh. But we got Zion Clarkson, the legless wrestler. I think he's also a decorated wrestler, versus the leg lock phenom Valter Walker. Hey, this was a fight, right? I mean, I literally just said a guy with no legs, leg lock expert. It had its one funny moments, the fake leg lock pull from Valter. And Zion was actually showing some serious work, though. He was able to take Valter's back a couple of times. Had to sneak in the choke, but the visuals insane. Valter's 6 foot tall, and Zion has no legs. He's a torso, right? Like all his torso, pretty much. So the image is very, very interesting. But Valter, at the end of the day, was managed to sink in a rear naked choke, and Zion wasn't very happy about the finish. But man, I give it to Zion. Take some fucking balls to go in there and just do what he did. I mean, he's a wrestler. He's done it before. But grappling is a different game. That's about leverage. It's about this. But dude, shout out to fucking Zion Clarkson. Didn't let anything stop him. And after, I think was the most interesting part of the whole event was that after was, I think, the most interesting part of the whole event. Let's take a look at this.
I'm very upset because I call my brother to come here with me and he don't come. Johnny Walker is not here. He don't come. I want to smash him. I want to break his foot, and show for him who's the real Walker. If his wife, let him come. Everybody know his wife, his manager, his wife, his boss. Let's fight for me and smash him in the UFC too. Come to heavyweight, boy. Come to heavyweight. I'll show you who the real heavyweight.
So wow, we get some fucking brother versus brother beef, and that's some freak fight shit. That's some warrior shit. And I seen it in an article from Bloody Elbow. Actually, before that, it's pretty crazy, with all that adrenaline going on, and I mean, it sucks when your family member can't make it there, right? His brother's been there for his whole journey, and I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion, I guess. But come on, I know Johnny Walker likes to have a good fucking time. But this is what Johnny Walker had to say, and I'm reading this from an article in Bloody Elbow. Um, saying that it's shameful. He's ashamed. He's choking a defenseless guy 4 times lighter than him and without legs. Very disrespectful. Another comment was, he doesn't deserve to use my name. He is not a walker. I am very sad. I stand up for my family. It's what I fight for. And he has no respect for my family, my wife, and my mom. He wants me to leave my pregnant wife at home after he said bad shit about her online, to come and support him to fight a disabled man. Ashamed, very ashamed. Take my name out yours. So it's crazy. So and business standpoint, business mind right here. Is it a good move to book a brother versus brother fight, knowing that it can get real fucking messy? And these two guys aren't fucking small dudes. These two guys are fucking massive ass motherfuckers. And, I feel like that brings a different energy. And, will they fight in the UFC maybe? Can they book it? Who knows? I feel like it's up for grabs, but that does suck, having to fight your family member because you feel like you're not supported. That is I don't know, very very interesting. And just I mean, come on, it's a fight. The guy did it. It's just that shows more balls on Zion, and I feel like it's more of like, you're not treating me any different than any other guy that I would wrestle with. There's some guy who on the street would feel bad for a guy like Zion. This guy has no legs, but this guy is just, for like thousands of people on YouTube that were watching, me included, watching this fight. I was like, oh dude, this guy, when he took his back, I was like, oh shit, this guy fucking can actually work. This guy's fucking doing some shit. Obviously this guy's a wrestler, like he knows something, but he's working some jiu-jitsu pretty good. And so, for me, that's what I feel. My thought on that is, I feel like, good on Valter for seeing this guy as just like, hey, he's a competitor. He wants to compete. He's no different than a fucking other guy walking on a mat, another 6-foot guy walking on the mat. Like, this guy wants to compete. This guy wants to do it on a stage. Let's do it then. Like, what's so wrong about that? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now. Night. Strickland versus Hernandez. I mean, this fight, 5 rounds, middleweight. Strickland, former champ. Can he beat anybody other than a streamer in his new era, in his older era, in his former champ era? I mean, he's gone 5 rounds before, and we know it. Sean Strickland, all he's got to do is establish a jab. Hernandez, slick grappler. Most likely he's going to try to take Sean Strickland down, but he's also one of those showmen who can be like, no, I'm going to fuck you up wherever I want to fuck you up, which I like. So it's going to be very interesting. I feel like Hernandez got a lot more going for him in this fight rather than Strickland. It's going to have to take a lot for Strickland to dig deep and get a dub over Hernandez, I feel. Like I said, Hernandez got to keep it sticking to the ground. I feel like if he's got to win, if he wants to really win, he's probably going to mix up that MMA wrestling where he kind of pieces you up, then goes to the takedown. And then for Strickland, I mean, it's having to fucking really keep that range and keep himself up, has to sprawl and watch the wrestling. I feel like it's going to be more of a defensive win, and a lot of counter defense. A lot of countering and a lot of wrestling defense for Sean to win. In our co-main, we get Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic, welterweight 3-round fight. Obviously, Neal, fucking hands of steel, ready to knock your lights out at any fucking moment. He's got sharp boxing. I mean, that's his number one key is that powerful striking. Medic is also an aggressive striker. I mean, he's gonna look for the early finish, but Neal is nobody to play around with, to be honest. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of pace control, a lot of composure under pressure. Then we get Dan 50K Ige versus Melquacel Costa. Ige, durable, the vet, fought in like 4 hours notice. I mean, who fucking does that, right? And we got Costa, technical striking with strong kicking game. Right, this is a vet versus a young guy, so Costa's looking to make a fucking big stamp, and having 50K Ige on your resume is nothing to fucking shy away at. Then for our heavyweights, we get Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delia. Spivak, he's more on the grappling heavy side. He can win by mainly control and submission, so he might be looking to take it to the ground. But Ante Delia, powerful striker, good kickboxing. He's got this explosion in the early rounds that makes him so fucking dangerous. But, I mean, with Spivak and grappling, that can go the full 3. So this might be a gas tank tester for Delia in this one. Now this is where it gets welterweight. We get Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. Jacoby Smith, undefeated prospect, balanced skill set. Harrell, grappler. So striker versus grappler. I don't know who wants to win. This is gonna be more of like a who can have the most composure under these bright lights of the UFC, and just a wrestling. So this might be a really grappling heavy fight. We'll see, right? We get Zach Reese versus Michelle Pereira. Reese, tall, rangy, has a more structured and disciplined approach. So this is interesting because Michelle Pereira, this guy's doing backflips off the cage. This guy's so flashy. This guy, I mean, unpredictable, super athletic, just jacked as shit. I mean, explosiveness to like 100. So I feel like with Reese, he's going to have to stay composed in these moments where Michelle might give him these flashy things and, have to change it up a little bit. But hopefully with that discipline, he's trained hard to figure out the puzzle that is Michelle. But man, that's it for this weekend's card. We'll come back after UFC Fight Night to see what happened and what goes next from all these and maybe react to some news. Anyways, guys, everybody have a nice rest of your week. This is Jay with Scraps and Taps. I'll see you guys on the fucking next one.